Hey, it's my friends. Good morning, Bellevue. Hey, I am coming to you on Wednesday, April 15th. You know what that day is? That's right. It's tax day. Oh, wait. They delayed the taxes. They don't have to be in today, but I think I might do mine today anyway. I've had them done for a while, but I just never took the time to actually fill out the forms and get them turned in. So I might turn in my taxes today anyway. So for those of you who are in the older age groups where you actually have some kind of forms you need to fill out for taxes, if you haven't done it, here's a reminder that they aren't really due for another 3 months. But I wanted to talk about taxes a little bit because taxes is a time, this day is where people, and if you're a younger kid, you won't have understood this, you might have heard about it yet, but this is the day when we kind of get it right with the government. Like we get things straightened out with the government. Now, it can happen any day before this, but this is the day symbolically. This is tax day when everybody's taxes have to be turned in so that everybody has themselves sort of worked out with the government. On this day, you find out, does the government owe you something or do you owe the government something? And some of you as parents, you have definitely had those years perhaps where you got to the end and it was like, I didn't do this right. I actually owe the government something. Or on other years, maybe the government is owing you something. Maybe you put too much in or you have enough deductions. But in this day, we go through this process of owing. Either we owe or we are owed. And on this day, there's a deadline to get that worked out. And what I want to suggest to you today from the emotional and the relational pillars of our Inspire model is that it is a good idea to set some deadlines on the debts we owe to each other when we're living in a family. Now, of course, we're probably not talking about money here, are we? But one of the things you no doubt have noticed is that as you've been spending more time together and as time has been going on, it's becoming some days a little bit harder to be quite as gentle with each other. It's becoming harder to be quite as patient. It's becoming harder to stay interacting. And what happens in these situations is we end up either doing something that hurts another person or people do things that hurt us. In other words, I've hurt you, so I now owe you something for this, or you've done something to me, you owe me. And so on this tax day, where we work out what we owe to the government in money terms, I want to suggest that you do something in your family, which I'm going to refer to as keeping a short account. Meaning you're not going to keep a long list of things that you have done or that have been done to you that you haven't worked out. And what does that look like? Well, what that means is if you know you've had a difficult day, if you're a parent with the kids or if you're a kid with your parent, and you know you just haven't been on your best game, the best thing that you can do is even that day, at the end of the day, keep a short account. Go. And how do you, if you owe somebody, what do you owe somebody if you've hurt them? Well, you owe them an apology, an honest confession, and an apology. Now, nobody likes to do this, okay? Nobody likes to admit that they're wrong. Nobody likes to admit that they weren't in control. Nobody likes this, but here's what we know. When you openly confess and apologize to the person that you've hurt, it's an opportunity for the relationship to get healed. When you don't do that, there's an open wound that can get worse and worse and worse. And that's why we're going to keep short accounts. But what happens if a person hurt you and now they owe you? Well, in that case, to keep a short account, we all have to become a little bit more compassionate and forgiving. In other words, we need to recognize we're all having difficult times right now. This is a difficult time. That's not to excuse hurtful behavior or to say that it's okay. But if I continue to hold it against the person, you remember how you hurt me yesterday. Remember how all this week you've been, ever since this quarantine started, then I'm building up resentment and bitterness, and I'm allowing this other person, even my own family member, to kind of have control over my emotions. So I'm going to learn when I am offended, when I am hurt. I'm going to learn how to be compassionate and forgiving. And forgiving simply means I'm not going to collect on that debt. I'm not going to hold it against you. Doesn't mean it's okay. It means I'm not going to hold it against you anymore. So on this tax day, we're going to learn to keep short accounts relationally and emotionally with our family members. We're going to find some time maybe every day to say, hey, anybody need to come clean? Did you get hurt? Were your feelings hurt today? Did I hurt you? Or I know that I did hurt you. I need to confess that and I need to apologize for it. We're going to go to each other as soon as there's conflict and try to keep a short account. We're going to pretend every day is tax day when it comes to emotions and relationship, as we work hard to forgive when we've been hurt and to apologize and take ownership and confess when we have hurt others. Promise you that if you can begin to adapt this, it's going to lower the tension in your family if you feel like that's been escalating. Unresolved emotion will always create unresolved problems. So work real hard on keeping short accounts today on tax day. And I will be back tomorrow with more things that we can talk about with Bellevue Coping Tips with Mr. Ott. I love you guys. I miss you. Be kind to each other. Have a great day.